Welcome to another edition of Kenny's Kantina, Eating in Style on the Road. Thanks for joining me. Fall is well underway here in Pennsylvania. The leaves are rapidly falling, and we just had a week of mornings in the low 30s. That's -1 Celsius for those of y'all outside the United States. Most folks around here are making like geese and heading south for the winter, but I have to stay and work. Oh, and while I'm on this point, I want to remind everyone that I am a professor and I teach for 9 months out of the year. So if episodes are somewhat slow on getting up, please bear with me. I do have to do my day job. Thanks for your patience. So with fall comes football season and the need for quick, easy snacks to enjoy while you watch the game. So today I'm going to share with you my Cajun Oyster Crackers. These oyster crackers are a great snack that will spice up any party. They're easy to make, and hey, there's no cooking involved, which makes this snack a winner. It goes great with a beer and can also be used to add a little spice to your soup. So prep time, about 10 minutes to make this dish up. Cooking time, no cooking needing. That's a great part of this recipe. Serves 4 to 12, and I keep it in my pantry for 2 weeks in a Ziploc bag, and it stays fresh, and I can just grab a few here and there whenever I have the urge. Now the ingredients, we need 1 bag of oyster crackers, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a tablespoon of Creole seasoning, and a teaspoon of gumbo filet. That's it, 4 ingredients. First off, you need to open up the bag of oyster crackers, right, and pour that into the mixing bowl. Next up, let me measure out my olive oil, and let me drizzle that all over. Shaking it out some. Got to get every last drop of that out there. All right. So now I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to stir the oyster crackers. I want to make sure that that olive oil is covering all the crackers. The olive oil is what's going to make the spices stick to the oyster crackers, so we definitely want that covered good. All right. That's looking like I got it covered. And now let me get the Creole seasoning. And today I'm using Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. They sent me several different samples of their spices to try, and I used their spice and herb blend to make dirty rice in season 2, episode 5. So check out that recipe for a great tasting one-pot meal. If you have a different brand of Creole seasoning around, go ahead and use it. It'll still be good. And now let me mix this in, make sure that it's covering all the crackers. All right. Ooh, looking good. Next, I'm going to add the gumbo filet. And we last used gumbo filet in my gumbo episode, season 1, episode 9. And gumbo filet is ground sassafras. And it gives gumbo and these Cajun oyster crackers an earthy flavor. Now, if you can't find gumbo filet where you live, don't worry about it. Go ahead and skip it. Your oyster crackers will still be good. It just won't have quite as complex flavoring. All right, so let's mix this all in. Get a good covering. All right, that's it. We are done. You are ready to enjoy. Let me grab a couple of these and give them a try. Those are quite tasty. The Creole season does have a spicy kick to it, but it's not overwhelming. And the gumbo filet gives it just a hint of an earthy taste and helps to mellow out the spice some. You and your guests are going to love this snack. So for serving, just fill a bowl with the Cajun oyster crackers and serve it up as a snack, maybe with a beer. I also have put a few of these on top of your favorite soup. It just adds a little spice to it. And it's really good as an easy snack to just bring to a party. It doesn't take any time to make. Where you go, your host will be loving you for bringing something to the party. Now, some tips. Make sure that the olive oil covers all the oyster crackers. It's that olive oil is what makes the spices stick to the crackers. And if you can't find gumbo filet, don't worry. Leave it out. Just use the Creole seasoning. Now, I keep a bag of oyster crackers around the RV so that I can whip up a quick snap for impromptu guests. And the Cajun oyster crackers, like I say, keeps for a couple weeks in my pantry in a plastic bag. So enjoy your Cajun oyster crackers. That's a mouthful putting all that together. And let me know what you think of them. Next up is one of my favorite segments of the show. It's mail time. But today's questions are in regards to my Birria Tacos show, Season 2, Episode 9. There were lots of great questions on Birria Tacos, and I will try to give you some informative answers. John from Southern California asks, what culture are Birria Tacos from? You know, not Mexico, but the town. I asked because we are planning a trip to Mexico when this COVID thing is over and would love to try birria in the town that it was most famous for. John, thanks for your question. Birria comes out of the Mexican state of Jalisco, which is on the western side of Mexico, about halfway down. Now, Puerto Vallarta is a popular resort town in the state of Jalisco, and I know you can get some good birria there. Actually, I just saw it on a PBS television show the other day. So they were selling it on the street. So get down there and give it a try. Thanks for the question, John. Next up is Sally from Texas. She wants to know, someone had to invent the birria taco. I know it came out of Mexico, but do you know who the individual is that created it and maybe what year? I have followed your history of food, so I hope this will complete it for those of us who find this dinner time interesting conversation. So Sally, I'm glad you like my history lesson. History is fun. Hard to say who first invented birria tacos. Birria, or slow-stewed meat, was first developed by the indigenous population of Jalisco following the conquistadors in the 1500s. Now let's jump forward to 1950, and Guadalupe Zarate is credited with serving birria tacos with the dipping sauce on the side on the streets of Tijuana, Mexico. In my research, it looks like Juan Jose Romero brought it to the U.S. in 1980. But it really wasn't until about 2001 that it started gaining popularity in Los Angeles, and now it's all over the country. Sally, I hope this gives you some fodder for your table conversation. Thanks for writing in. Paula from New Mexico said, every dish out of Mexico has another name for the same dish. I tried your dish and served it to a Mexican friend of mine, and when he looked at it and tasted it, he said it was one of the best quesabirria he has had in a long time. I didn't want to debate with him over the naming, what his thought was about quesabirria, but I thought it was a birria dish. Paula, thanks for your question, and I'm so glad your Mexican friend enjoyed your tacos. It means a lot to get confirming feedback. Now to your question. You're right that the name varies from region to region, and technically, your Mexican friend is correct. The word birria refers to the slow-cooked meat with spices. The quesabirria refers to the stewed meat with cheese. So since I add Oaxacan cheese to the tacos, it is technically quesabirria. But with or without the cheese, it is still great. Thanks for writing in, Paula. Here's an interesting one from Cheryl in Arizona. My husband and I went out to dinner and were served something called barbacoa. Next to it was your dish, birria. They looked the same and almost tasted the same. So my question is, what's the difference between birria and barbacoa? They were both good and each tasted different, but both looked almost the same. Cheryl, this is a great question. Both barbacoa and birria are slow-cooked meats, but they originate from different parts of Mexico. Birria is from the West Coast and barbacoa is from Central Mexico. Now, being from different parts of Mexico, local spices are used that produce a different flavor. They also differ in the cooking process. Traditionally, barbacoa is cooked in an earthen oven using steam, where birria is typically slow braised. Both methods result in the shredded texture of the meat. Now, where I'm from in South Texas, barbacoa is eaten on Sunday mornings as part of your breakfast. Also in South Texas, the meat used is the beef cheek or meat off the head of the cow. Now, whether it's birria or barbacoa, enjoy. Thanks, Cheryl. Now, Mary from Texas asks, I've been told that bouillon is bad for you because of its unsettling ingredients that are found in the cubes and may have adverse effects on activity and attention in children. Now, I know you use better than bouillon. Are they the same ingredients that are better than the cube, or are they the same? Hey, Mary, bouillon cubes and powder along with beef stock all say it serve the same purpose as better than bouillon, and I switch back and forth between them. Now, I'm not a nutritionist, and I know some of my viewers are, so maybe they can chime in on a more precise response. I looked at the ingredients and the nutrition labels on each. Here's what I found. The bouillon cubes and powder contained a higher sodium count than the better than bouillon and the beef stock. None of them were 100% natural, but looking at the ingredients, the better than bouillon and the beef stock had a lot fewer additives than the cube and the powder. Also, the beef stock had 3 grams of protein, better than bouillon 1 gram, and the powder and the cube, well, they had 0 protein. So my non-nutritionist opinion is that the better than bouillon is better than the cube or powder for you. The beef stock is also better. So, Mary, I hope this answers your question. And like I said, I'm not a nutritionist, so maybe somebody can chime in. Our last question is from Rhonda in New Mexico. Yes, I have a question about a statement that people have said. Which is better, beer broth and consomme? I'm aware that consomme is a clear liquid that results from clarifying homemade stock, but does this clarification change the taste, or is it healthier for you? What's your opinion of this, and do you use a consomme over broth in any of your dishes? Rhonda, this is an interesting question. You are correct that consomme is clarified homemade stock. This is an extra step that is great if you're making a fancy clear broth soup. My dishes are not so fancy, and just using the homemade stock without the added process of clarifying saves some time and works just fine. So for me, I don't go that extra step. Thanks, Rhonda, for watching and for your question. And thanks to everyone who wrote in, and thanks for watching. I love that y'all challenged me in the Q&A. Next time on Kenny's Cantina, we're going to prepare a fantastic tasting side dish for Thanksgiving. I created a recipe for a street corn casserole that is sure to add some spice to the traditional fare. It's quick and easy, and it's perfect for that Thanksgiving potluck at the RV park. So join me next time. I want to give a shout out to all my tasters around the RV park who graciously answered my knock on their door and me saying, here, try this. Tell me what you think. So a big thanks to Jack, Aaron and Rob, Clark, Gail and Luke, Sherry, and Layla and Jimmy. Your feedback is always great. And you too, if you see me in an RV park, you can be one of my tasters. Kenny's Cantina wouldn't be possible without y'all. So thanks for watching and cooking with me. It really means a lot. And one last big shout out to the Road Hogs Media Network and to IBC Productions for making my show available across the globe. If you'd like to sponsor a future show, send me an email at kennyscantina@gmail.com or contact the studio. So thanks for watching. See y'all on the road.